Okay, I've got my beading loom here that shows how I replace the springs with a line of beads on a beading thread that were tied around the screws on the end and taped with duct tape in place. You can put any size beads on your bead thread, run your warp threads between those beads, and then your warp threads will be the perfect size for your beadwork. They won't be set too close or too far apart. You can use size 10s, 11s, 12s, 2s, 3s. It will all work. And I'm also going to show on this video, I'll show you the whole loom here. We'll swing around. It's a long one. It's an adjustable loom. Did this on both ends of the loom, replacing the springs with a string of beads. That's replaceable. I'm going to show, get this lined in, how to start and stop your thread when doing beadwork. And you do not need to start with a stop bead. That's just for beginners to help them get their tension if they're having trouble. I'm going to slide this under here so you can see what I'm doing a little better when I go on this other side to do the beadwork. Let's see here. Try to zoom in as close as I can. Let's see, get this moved over. Turned a little bit. This is a different camera, so it doesn't do close-ups as nice as the other camera, which broke, unfortunately. Let's see, hopefully. Oh, and I'm also going to cover what happens if you've gone to the next row of beads and you realize you didn't get your needle, you missed a bead. Because Executive Pagan wanted to know how you fix that issue. Let's see here, tighten this up on the beadwork. Okay. You can take your needle and file the end of it so it's not sharp if you're having trouble with poking yourself while you're beading on the loom. If the needle seems like it's a magnet for your fingertips, you can take that sharp edge off. Now, when you start your beadwork, when you haven't done any beading yet, you can tie a knot to this outer thread here and then start your beadwork, and when you're done, take that other end, put a needle on it, and weave it in. What I do here is I go back 3 rows, 1, 2, 3. I just put my needle through and make sure you're going through all the beads. 2 and 3. Pull that through till it's about even. Then come back up through this row. If you're using a needle that you can't get back through your beads again because it's too thick, all you would have to do is just tie a knot here and then just go through the last row to start your beadwork. This is the best way, because now when we start, this is secure, it's not going to pull out. I'm going to break up the pattern here a little bit to show you this. I'm going to pick up 10, I think it's 10 beads, 10 green beads to put in for the next row, and I'm going to show you what to do, 3, 4, to make sure that you picked up you put your needle through all of your beads correctly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And of course I'm doing this sideways just because of the way I have the camera set up. A little awkward, but do the best I can here. I'm going to pop those into place like this. When you put your needle through, you should be able to see it glint between the beads. That's the way you know you're over the thread and not under it. And if you can see that. You can also pull that forward a little bit and make sure you got all the beads. If you don't have them all, one of these threads will pop up to the top, and maybe I'll skip a bead just so you can see what I'm talking about. See if I can purposely skip one. Nope. Been doing this beading too long. Get this back on here. Should see the silver peek through all the beads. Pull it forward a little bit and push it down. One of these, you'll see it floating over the top if you missed a bead. And just back your needle out. Can you see the silver shining between the beads? That tells you you got through them all. If you should find that you made a mistake and you need to undo your rows to get back to previous, all you have to do is take this thread here, tug it out just a little bit, leaves a loop there that you can get into hopefully with your needle. Then you'll take your needle off the thread and then just pull this all out and start over again. If you're pulling your threads too tight when you're doing your beadwork, you can do this. Leave a needle in there, like that. And I'm going to pick up 10 more beads and show this again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Because I also had a request to show how to end the thread. So I'm going to add this row and then I'm going to end the thread, and hopefully, if you guys have any more questions, just send them to me, and then when I have a chance I'll put another video up. I've been busy with my spinning wool and knitting, learning. Been very interested in spinning on drop spindles and my antique spinning wheel, so kind of neglected the beadwork a little bit. So I'm gonna, here we go. Now if you want to end your thread, what I do is I go back to the previous row and I go through there like that. You're going back 3 rows, but you know, see, 1, 2, 3, but it's 4 from the one you finished. You see here. And then generally I'll come up in the middle of a row so I don't have a cut thread hanging off the side. And then pull it all the way through and clip it off. And then something fun I can show you real quick before I end this video is you can also put your edging, when you're done, you can go back along and do an edging by like coming up these outer beads like this. And then coming out of that last, come back through like that. You have a little edging. It can also help protect the sides of your beadwork if you're not like attaching it to leather. Pretty little edging there. Also, when you're done with your beadwork and before you cut it off the loom, what some people do is they put tape here and here and then cut it off, and then some people do go to the extra bother of doing an over-under weave, which is the best way to do this. With your beading thread, or you could use another thread. You're just going to do the opposite of what you did before, over and under. Come back up this one, if I don't drop the needle. Oh, it looks like I made a mistake there. Just the opposite on the next steel. Yeah, I made a mistake there. Nobody felt the need to point that out. Okay, here we go. You know, you do that for about a ½ inch or so, and that just helps secure your beadwork. After you fold it under, this is for attaching to like leather or felt, anything like that. I didn't quite get that weaving right. I thought I'd show it real quick. Let's see here. Like that. It's just an over-under weaving. And you definitely want to do this before you cut it off the loom. And you continue doing that for about a ½ inch. And then I would knot my thread before I cut it like this. I'd probably take it through like 2 and just do a knot and trim it off like that, because it's going to be folded under your finished beadwork. I hope this was helpful. Let me know.